Hello, I'm Kimberly Cummings, and I am here tonight to present a proposal that I prepared with my fellow student, Reggie Hawkins, which is a proposal to repeal the Stand Your Ground law. Just a brief introduction, the Stand Your Ground law is a law that's in effect in most states in the Union that allows an individual to use deadly force when faced with a situation. Now, Reggie and I worked very well together on this proposal, although for this evening's presentation, I'll be going into detail on the method and resources, and the cost, and the conclusion. So the Stand Your Ground law has recently become a very controversial topic with the recent Zimmerman-Martin case that has been publicly displayed as of late. And one of the things that we'd like to propose to every individual is that you approach your state and ask them to repeal the Stand Your Ground law. There's a little bit of a difference in the fact that we can defend ourselves in our homes without having inappropriate force used against us. Although the Stand Your Ground law allows us as an individual to take that out into the streets, and we feel that people can be irresponsible with that. So some of the things that you can do in regards to addressing this issue, if you would like to see it repealed in your state as well, is of course approach your legislation. There are several different avenues in which to do that, but one that I want to mention to you tonight is something that's called Dream Defenders, and you can actually follow them on Twitter at Dream Defenders. So they recently were able to hold a protest in the state of Florida, which was one of the first states to put this law into effect. And they made an impact that actually had their Speaker of the House, he has made a decision to have this law reevaluated coming in the fall. So they had a lot of influence by actually going out, holding a protest, putting things that they stand for out on their Twitter page, and just reaching out to their community. So not only can you blog about things, can you use social media, go to community events, write your legislator, call your legislator, email your legislator, but you can also become a part of that team who's making a nationwide impact on wanting to be heard about their desire to have this law repealed in their state. So one of the reasons I feel that this group of individuals and many of the people that are in the state of Florida right now have an interest in having this law repealed is that there is a huge cost that has come into play in the state of Florida. And we're going to use Florida as an example since the law went into effect in 2005. So first thing I want to say is that there's just no way to put a cost on a human life. There's just so much that goes into the impact that can be made when one person is in a situation that they take another person's life. So in the state of Florida, they've seen increases in homicides, they've seen increases in gun permits, they've seen cases that were dismissed because the Stand Your Ground law was used over and over. They've seen an increase in the weapon of choice, which was the gun, in these laws. And one thing I want to point out, because we always want to be aware of what drives things, is that in the state of Florida, since this law went into effect, they've actually had an increase in their budget of $1.1 million, which was just in the amount that was generated by the gun permits. I know we don't like to think that that's a reason for anything to happen, but unfortunately money does drive a lot of the reasons that things happen in today's society. So I just want to say one last thing as far as the cost is concerned. When prior to the Stand Your Ground law going into effect in Florida, they had in 2005 13.2 homicides. In 2012, they had a historical record high of 66 homicides. And the cost that we can't put a number on is the collateral damage. The families, the children without parents, the parents without children, the aunts and the uncles that are impacted by this. So in conclusion, I believe that it's not about trying to take a freedom or a right away from an American citizen. It's about being responsible in our communities and in our states and in our government as a whole. And the Stand Your Ground law, unfortunately, releases a lot of that responsibility, and it takes it from a situation where someone has instruction in their heart to defend themselves to basically wherever you are, and if you ever feel threatened, you have a license to kill. So we'd like to thank you tonight for listening to our proposal, and God bless.